Hey guys, the Crafty Pilot here, and today I'm going to show you how I plan my flights with SimBrief. So this is super easy. You can create a free account and you'll be able to create all these flights that are generated by SimBrief. You can add input if you'd like, but overall it's a great website and I hope you guys like this tutorial. So the first thing you're going to do is go to Dispatch, and then you go to Dispatch System, and you'll get to this page. So the first thing you want to do is create a new flight. So this page will load in. What you need to do is enter the airline and your flight number. Now you don't need to do this, but it's always a good idea to. So the airline is American for today, so we're going AAL, which is the airline code for American. And the flight number is 1826. Today we are departing from Denver International, which is KDEN, and arriving at Phoenix, which is KPHX. So our time en route is going to be 2 hours and 5 minutes. Our airframe, for now we're just going to select the B737-300. And then what it does for you here is it programs a route based on what it thinks it wants you to fly. You can use this, or you can use other routes that it suggested. So we're going to use the second route on this page, and you can replace by just clicking on that route. And then you need to analyze it, and it'll tell you whether it's valid or not valid for the AIRAC cycle, which it is. And I know the cycle is outdated, but otherwise you have to pay for a Navigraph service, which is a whole other deal. Regardless, it shows you some of the waypoints along your way. So there's Denver, there's Solar on the departure. So as you can see, there are a lot of ways you can adjust this route. It automatically gives you your time en route, your departure and arrival runways based on wind from that current airport. It also generates on a regular basis the taxi out and taxi in times. You can add any extra fuel. I do none and then just do it myself. You can program a cruise altitude, or you can let SimBrief do that itself when you generate. My zero fuel weight I always select as 100.1 tons. Reason being that if you don't select a high enough zero fuel weight, it's harder to get a descent out of the IXCG 737. So heavy zero fuel weight is usually the way to go because you descend easier and it requires a little more thrust, which gives you control over your speed on the descent. So I think that this route looks good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to write down all of these details and put them on a sheet of paper or something that I'm going to use to program the FMC. So I write down the route, I write down especially the runways, because you don't get to see them once you generate the route. But stuff like, the airline, the flight number, the airports, of course, stuff like that. And then once you're done adjusting these, should we call them fields, you can generate your flight plan by hitting Generate OFP, this button right here. And then it's going to ask you if you wish to generate this flight plan. You can just hit yes, and this page will come up. It'll generate the flight plan, giving you a little more information because it's generated all of the stuff beforehand. Alright, so the page just loaded up. As you can see, it's given us a cruise flight level, which in this case is flight level 340. It gives you some of the information, like the airline, the flight number, the aircraft, origin and destination, but it doesn't actually give you the weights and things that you're going to use. So the runways aren't on here. You have to write those down beforehand. Just keep that in mind. The route is here as well. What I do with the IXCG 737 is I come down to weights in the OFP, and I look at zero fuel weight, which I already know is going to be 100.1, and then I look at fuel. So this is going to be my base fuel. So the fuel is 15.8 for this flight. Now I'm going to write that down, and I'm going to add, depends on the amount of reserves. So this is what you'd put into the reserve section on the FMC for the IXEG 737. If you want to, go ahead and check out that video where I have a full tutorial on how to put all of this information to use. The other thing is you add the same thing, actually, is that you add the reserves to this, and when you do that, you get 17.4. So that's what you'd enter into the load fuel. So you would actually load 17.4 tons of fuel, because adding 15.8 plus 1.5 gives you 17.4. So that's how you would put the fuel into the plane. And then this is what you put in plan fuel, this 15.8. The next thing, and the last thing that we're going to look at, is down here at wind information. And you're going to look for your flight level, which in this case is 340. And you're going to look for the actual wind. So the wind is 255 at 32 knots. This is what you enter into the, to the cruise wind in the FMC. Again, this is where you would look at the FMC tutorial to see exactly where and how to do that. Other than that, this is it for the tutorial. Once again, check out my IXEG 737 FMC tutorial to put all of this information to use. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe, leave a like, and I'll see you guys next time.